Hi everybody, MTG Openings here with my Kaladesh booster box opening. This one's coming to you a little early due to spoils of a pre-release. I'm just going to dive right in here as usual. I'm going to read the rares and that's about it. Feel free to let me know how your pre-release weekend went. I did pretty well. I ended up getting first place in both of mine, so without further ado, I'm going to dive right in here. So cards in this set that are notable, of course, there are 4 different Planeswalkers. We'd be happy with any or all of them, and you have a chance to get a Masterpiece Collection Invention, so of course we'd be happy with any of those as well. We're just going to slowly go through all these. And our first rare is Inspiring Vantage. It's the fast land, the red-white fast land, which means there's one of these for all the enemy colors. So it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, and it taps for red or white. So there's one for other combinations. We got and a foil Barbarian Tiger. The fast lands are of course good. That's actually my first one I've gotten myself. But hope to get a whole set of them, to be honest. When we get to the last pack of the box, we'll do what's the first pick. Our next rare, Territorial Gouger. 3 in a red, 2/2 Gremlin with Trample, and whenever you get 1 or more energy, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. I got a Gouger in my pre-release pool. I did not play it. In my video, if you watched, I had a pretty good red-blue pool, but I ended up going blue-white instead. So, and went 4-0. So, but I still think the Territorial Gouger is okay if you're planning on going energy. He'd be a great pickup in like a 3rd pack if you had stuff already. Next rare is a Mythic Demon of the Dark Schemes, 3 and 3 black for a 5/5 demon. He's got flying. When he enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, and whenever another creature dies, you get an energy. You can pay 2 and a black and 4 energy. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. And a swamp. And a Nissa emblem. I like the demon. In a game I played for fun at the pre-release, my opponent had a Demon of Dark Schemes and my deck was super aggro and just killed all of my stuff. So that was not fun, but hey, it happens. It's definitely a good card. Definitely gonna see some play, I think, even if it's a little more tier 1.5-ish in standard. Our next rare, Cultivator of Blades. Cultivator of Blades is 3 and 2 green for a 1/1 with Fabricate 2, and whenever Cultivator of Blades attacks, you may have another attacking creature get +X/+X until end of turn, or X is Cultivator of Blades power. Definitely strong. Limited card, of course. Now I'm mostly a limited player, so I'd be happy with that card. I don't have any plans for that card outside of it, but still not a bad card. So diving right in here to the next pack. We've got a Mythic and a foil rare. Our Mythic is Chandra, Torch of Defiance. 2 and 2 red, 4 loyalty Planeswalker Chandra. 2/+1 abilities. The first one, exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card. If you don't, you can have it do 2 damage to each opponent. Second one is to add 2 red to your mana pool. -3, Chandra Torch of Defiance does 4 damage to target creature, and -7, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to target creature or player. It is probably the chase card in the set, at least as of today. We got a foil Syndicate Trafficker. It's 1 and a black, 3/1 Aetherborn Rogue. Pay 1, sacrifice an artifact. He gets a +1/+1 counter, and he gains indestructible until end of turn. We got a Servo. So Chandra, I got in my I got a promo one in my other pre-release, not the one I opened on camera, and she was very good. I only got her in 2 of my games, but I won both of those games relatively quickly. So Chandra's a very great pickup. That Syndicate Trafficker is not bad either, but obviously when comparing to a Chandra, not great. Next rare is a Scrap Heap Scrounger. 2 to cast artifact, 3/2 that can't block. You pay 1 and a black and exile another creature card from your graveyard and return it to the battlefield from your graveyard. At first I thought he cost 3, and it had a different ability, but that is not the case. I like that card. It's very good. I took many a damage from it over the weekend in pre-releases, and even if you didn't play black, I think you play that card in limited, at least in sealed, because he's a 2 to cast 3 too. So next rare is Authority of the Consul. 1 white enchantment. Creatures your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain a life. I had one of those also in one of my 2 pre-releases, and I got it a few times. It's pretty strong. I had it played against me once too, which was kind of annoying. So yeah, the deck's the real deal. I think it's going to go in my cube, but I haven't actually looked at all that stuff yet. So our next rare is a Dynavolt Tower. 3 to cast artifact. When you cast an instant or sorcery, you get 2 energy, and you can tap it and pay 5 energy to deal 3 damage to a creature or player. And a foil Morbid Curiosity. So far the box isn't too bad. I'm happy so far. I mean, I've obviously got a Chandra and I got the Demon, which is also good, so certainly cannot complain about that. The Dynavolt Tower I think would be fun to build around in limited for sure. It's probably not great in sealed, but now I'm moving on to draft, so that'll get fun. Our next rare is Fumigate, 3 and 2 white sorcery. Destroy all creatures and you gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. I did fear that card a few times this weekend at the pre-release. It never got played against me, but when I was playing my deck at midnight, I was very aggro, and I have 4 or 5 creatures in play, and I'm playing against white, and I'm like, you know, that person has a Fumigate, and I basically would lose, because I was pretty much all in. Our next rare, Architect of the Untamed. 2 and a green, 2/3, Elf, Artificer, Druid. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you get an energy. You can pay 8 energy to create a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. Also, not a bad card to open pack 1 in the draft, but I'm not so sure I would do it, but I'm not a huge landfall kind of guy. I also didn't do that much energy stuff this weekend either, so I like energy as a resource, but I don't know if I like it as a strategy. We shall see as the format progresses. Our next rare is Midnight Oil. Oh, we got a foil Sky Skiff, which is pretty cool. Midnight Oil is a lot of words. It's 2 and a black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it has 7 hour counters on it. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card and remove 2 hour counters from Midnight Oil. Your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters on Midnight Oil, and whenever you discard a card, you lose 1 life. And then the Sky Skiff. Midnight Oil, I guess you could build around it. I didn't first thought of this. As long as you play it with a few cards in your hand already, you can maybe do some shenanigans. You always get to draw an extra card, so that's good. But I don't foresee it being played very much anywhere unless someone does something very specific with it in Commander. So our next rare is a Deadlock Trap. 3 to cast artifact. Deadlock Trap enters the battlefield tapped. When Deadlock Trap enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and you can tap it and pay an energy to tap target creature or planeswalker, and its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. So that card is not great, obviously. It's definitely just a constructed card. If anything, I don't know how many people are getting planeswalkers, although it did seem like there were a lot of planeswalkers going around. Well, I guess when there's 4 in a set, you're going to see an abundant amount of them, even at Mythic. But I don't think it means you play it normally. So, I mean, I guess it taps creatures. So it's still very good now that I think about it. I'm sorry. I forgot it taps creatures. So it's still very good, but it still would work if your opponent has planeswalkers. Our next rare, Toolcraft Exemplar. 1 white for a 1/1. Dwarf Artificer. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control an artifact, he gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more artifacts, he also gets first strike. So a little fun fact I keep pointing out to people at the pre-release. So the hammer he's holding is actually the hammer that the Cataclysmic Gearhawk is wielding on the card. Which we know the dwarves built that Gearhawk, so I guess it makes sense. But it's kind of cool. I have a feeling there's a lot of little Easter egg things like that in this set, and the more you look at the cards, the more we're going to see it. So, pretty cool. Our next pack rare is Kumbal, Console of Allocation. 1, a white, a black for a 2/3 Human Advisor. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Seems strong. I mean, 3 cast 2/3 with a very relevant ability. I mean, they play a vehicle and that counts, so there's definitely vehicles going around, even though some sealed pools don't have vehicles, or might not play them, or limited, but there are enough vehicles going around that even if that's all you have, I mean, to make your opponent drain themselves for 2 to kill one of your guys is at least a good trade-off. Our next pack has Dubious Challenge. Dubious Challenge, 3/0 green, sorcery. You look at the top 10 cards of your library, exile up to 2 creature cards from among them, then shuffle your library. Target opponent may choose one of the exiled cards and put it onto the battlefield under his or her control, and put the rest onto the battlefield under your control. I'm going with worst rare in the set. I don't think there's, because their opponent may take it, I can't think of any reason you would ever play the card ever. In any format, for any reason. But I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. Our next rare is the Inventor's Fair. It's a land. It's legendary. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain a life. It taps for colorless mana. You can pay 4 and sacrifice it, and search your library for an artifact, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You can only activate the ability if you control 3 or more artifacts. It has Metalcraft. The card's fine. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't play it in a sealed deck. I'm sure there's some shenanigans that Commander players are looking forward to. And it definitely could go in cubes too, I guess, if you have an artifact-centered cube. Our next rare is Key to the City. It's a 2-cast artifact. You tap it, you discard a card, and up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn, and when it becomes untapped, you may pay 2, and if you do, you draw a card. So, pretty good. I don't know why you wouldn't play it. It's got a little smudge print on it. I like that card. I mean, I wouldn't go after it, but I certainly wouldn't pass it if there were nothing else in the pack. So, and I mean, I wouldn't first pick it, that's for sure, but I don't know why I wouldn't take it. I love this train, by the way. It was MVP in my midnight event. Our next rare is a Multiform Wanderer. 5 to cast, 3/3 construct artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. You can pay an energy and give it Flying, Vigilance, or Lifelink until end of turn. You can also pay an energy to give it +2, -2, or -2, +2. We got a foil Duhund Operative. We got the construct token. I like Malform Wanderer. It makes, whenever you played, I had it played against me, and it made me think the entire time it was on the battlefield. Thankfully, I had the upper hand, basically, and could keep it under control, and he never had a lot of energy to do with it, but he did gain a ton of life with it. I guess at least 3 life, so that's fun. Fairgrounds Warden. Our rare is a Lathnu Hellion. It's 2 and a red, 4/4, haste. Enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and at the beginning of your end step, you sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy. I thought that was at the next turn. Huh. Well, there you go. Not a bad card. Limited. I don't think it's going to see any play elsewise unless there's some crazy energy deck I'm not seeing. I mean, I guess there's some ways to get infinite stuff in this with these new cards, but I don't think a 3-cast 2/4/4 haste is the way to go. Our next rare is a mythic. It is Veridus Gearhawk. It's the green Gearhawk. 3 and 2 green, 4/4 trample artifact creature construct. When it enters the battlefield, you distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. So that's our 3rd mythic. Pretty good. Like that card. All the Gearhawks are good. I didn't like this one the most. It still might be the worst, but then I realized it only costs 5 mana, and you can have an 8/8 trample for 5 mana, or distribute it however you want. Whether you use a 5/5, a 6/6, a 7/7, an 8/8, even a 4/4, and you have another guy that gets +4/+4 seems good. That's a Cloud Blazer, just like the first one I've seen. Our rare is a Fleetwood Cruiser. We got Chandra Emblem. Fleetwood Cruiser is a 4-cast 5/3 trample haste. When it enters the battlefield, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, and it has crew 2. I haven't faced against that card, but it seems really strong. I mean, even in a deck that isn't super aggro-y, he still has 5 power and can block anything with, you know, 5 toughness, which is a lot of the vehicles and even some of the scary creatures of the set. So our next rare is a Panharmonicon, 40 cast artifact, and if an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, then the ability triggers an additional time. Holy Commander seems like it's going to be good in Cube. There might even be some crazy tricks with it in Constructed. I think we're going to see some Panharmonicons in our lifetime being played. If anyone watched the Loading Ready Run pre-release, you already saw crazy shenanigans with that card. Our next rare is another Mythic. It's another Gearhawk. It's the blue one. 4 and 2 blue for a 5/6 flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast an instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card will be put into the graveyard, then you exile it this turn instead. Even if you have that card and have no instants in your graveyard, it's still a 6 to cast 5/6 flash. Seems pretty good. I guess maybe that one's the worst one in a deck without instants, but it's still really good. Our next rare is a Madcap Experiment. 3 in a red, sorcery, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Madcap Experiment deals damage to you equal to the number of cards revealed this way. So if you're playing a deck with lots of artifacts in it, pretty good. 4 to cast, you get any artifact you want. Or, I mean, I guess if you have enough life and you only have 1 artifact and you want to go get it, also would work. Make sure it doesn't kill you. I played one in one of my decks at the pre-release, and it did 5 damage to me one game. It happens. Our next pack has a Bristling Hydra. 2 and 2 green for a 4/3 Hydra. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. You can pay 3 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains hexproof until end of turn. That card's really hard to play against. Thankfully, it doesn't have trample, so you can chump block it if you have to. You also don't really want to remove it because your opponent just gives it hexproof in response, which I am not a fan of. But it's a very good card. 40 cast 4/3 that can get bigger. That protects itself is very good. Our next rare is a Paradoxical Outcome. 3 in a blue instant. Return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hand, and you draw cards for each returned to your hand this way. We got a foil also. It's a workshop assistant. The outcome's gonna, there's gotta be something people are gonna do with that card for sure. I don't know if it's a broken card, but I feel like people are going to abuse it in some way, in some formats. Is that standard? Probably not. But it still looks like, I still think people are going to have fun with it. Our next rare is a Spire Bluff Canal. It's it's the blue-red fast land. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 of your lands, and it taps for blue or red. You got a foil Aether Meltdown. Oh, I don't need to read that. So far pretty good. I like where this is going. We've got 2 fast lands, 2 Gearhawks, Chandra and the Demon. Fleet Wheel Cruiser's good. Definitely fun stuff. Next pack here. A rare is Captured by the Consulate. 3 in a white. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature you don't control. Enchanted creature can't attack. And when an opponent casts a spell, if it has a single target, you change the target to enchanted creature if able. I don't really like this card. I mean, obviously if you get it, you're going to play it. It is a removal spell, sort of, but they can still activate abilities, they can still create vehicles. It just turns your guy into a flag bearer. Now granted, that keeps one of your guys safe from removal, but ultimately it just stops your opponent from attacking, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan. We got a Fateful Showdown. That's 2 story cards in a row, and I think we have all but 1. That's 2 and 2 red, instant. Fearful Showdown deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. Discard all the cards in your hand and then draw that many cards. I like it. I will definitely play it in my draft decks if I open it, and am red, of course. But what happens if you draw it on turn 6 and you don't have any cards in your hand? I don't know. It's questionable for sure. Our next rare is a Avoya Pashri Sage Life Crafter. It's a green for a 1/2, and I'm sure I butchered the name, by the way. It's a legendary creature, human artificer. You can pay 2 and a green and tap it and get a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Or you can pay 4 and a green and tap it and get an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures you control. Ooh, we got a foil aerial responder too, which is kind of cool. Oh look, we got a construct token in our pack with Avoya. Pretty cool. I like that foil aerial responder. That might actually be one of the few non-rare, non-mythic foils that are worth some money. So, pretty cool. Getting down to the last few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to go, counting this one. See if we can get one more decent mythic. We got a Shahili's Artistry. It's a good card. Oh, I didn't talk about Avoya. So Avoya's good and limited. I wish that this made maybe stars for creatures in play. Maybe that's too strong. But it just seems, I mean, you can have a lot of creatures before you activate that second ability. Shahili's Artistry is 4 and 2 blue for a sorcery. You choose one or both. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, and create a token that's a copy of target creature, except as an artifact in addition to its other types. This card is really, really good. It might be one of the best rares in the set. Your opponent has, like, you know, something really good, some artifact creature that's really good. You can make 2 of it for 6 mana. It's crazy. Seems like beyond good. Even just using one of those abilities seems fine. So. Our next rare is Blooming Marsh. That's the black-green fast land. I won't read it all this time. I do like these fast lands for sure. We now have 3. I'll take that for sure. They're probably the rares in this set worth the most, or that are going to retain the most value. There's probably a few rares that'll pass it at some point, but in the end, those fast lands are where it's going to be at. We got an Aether Squall Ancient. 5 and 2 blue, 6/6 flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 energy, and you can pay 8 energy to return all other creatures to their owner's hand. Activate the ability only any time you can cast a sorcery. We got a foil, Forest. I like the Ancient for sure. Definitely a powerful effect. Definitely really good if, like, you can have 8 energy build up and surprise them, and then, you know, they have to try to do something about it in 3 turns, or all their stuff's going to get bounced again. I really like that card. I guess it's a kind of steep. I mean, it's a 6/6 flying for 7, so it's not totally unreasonable. Next pack, Confiscation Coup. So that's the, I think, the 5th Story Spotlight card. If you don't know what I'm talking about, down in the bottom corner here it says Story Spotlight, right here. That's 5 of 5. They show the story as it happens in the cards, and they numbered them and pointed them out with this Planeswalker symbol, so you know you can see more what's going on. Anyway, this card is 3 and 2 blue sorcery. Choose target artifact or creature. You get 4 energy. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. If you do, you gain control of it. And it gains control of permanents. It has to be good, for sure. Down to 2 more packs here. I like the coup in limited. It's going to be okay in Commander and definitely casual. It's not bad. I mean, it gives you 4 energy. You're going to steal something with a converted mana cost of 4 or less with it, so it's definitely good. Next pack has a Cultivator's Caravan in it. It's a vehicle. It's a 3 to cast artifact vehicle, and it taps to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool with crew 3, and it's a 5/5. Let's see if we can end on a bang here. It's our last pack. Invention, maybe? Masterpiece Invention? Anybody? Dove and Bond. If I name enough good cards, I might hit it. Let's see, last pack. So this is going to be, as I usually do, leave a comment in the comment section below. What would be your first pick in a triple Kaladesh draft out of this pack? So we'll go a little slower on this one, reviewing a few of the cards. So first is actually a Ruinous Gremlin. It's a 1 to cast 1/1 Gremlin. 2 in a red, sack it, destroy target artifact. I actually like this card. 4 mana to destroy any artifact that's bothering you. Not horrible. Herald of the Fair is okay. 3/2 for 3. Gives a guy +1/+1 on its own turn. Not a first pick. I still like the Gremlin more. Kajar Seed Sculptor is a 1 in the green. 1/2 that gives a +1/+1 counter. So, still good. I still like the Gremlin over it. Ambitious Aetherborn, 4 and a black, 4/3 Fabricate 1. I think this is better than the Gremlin. So now I like the Aetherborn. Adventure Goggles is 1 to cast. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2. It equips for 2, and it can go right on any Artificer as soon as you play it. I don't think I first picked that, but it's not bad. There's Giant Spectacle, 1 in a red, enchant creature, gets menace and +2/+1. I don't like enchant creatures much. There's a removal spell of impeccable timing, 1 in a white. Instant, deal 3 damage, target attacking or blocking creature. That's in the running. Consulate Skygate, you could take this, I guess, first pick. 2 to cast, 0/4, Defender with Reach, only if you're planning on walling up. Curio Vendor, 1 in a blue, 2/1, not first pickable. Riparian Tiger, 3 and 2 green, 4/4 trample. You get 2 energy when he comes into play. And when he attacks, you can pay 2 and he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That's strong. I think that's my new first pick. I have to think about it some more. First uncommon is Hazardous Conditions. 2, a black and a green. Creatures with no counters on them get -2/-2 until end of turn. This might end up being a good card, but I won't know that yet. That's not first pickable to me. Visionary Augmenter, 2 and 2 white, 2/1 Fabricate 2. Not bad. I think even the Aetherborn is better than that in this case, though. We got a Sequestered Stash, their last uncommon. It's a land, taps for colorless, pay 4, tap it, sacrifice it, put the top 5 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may put an artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Not first pickable. Our rare is Pia Nalar. We don't have another card. So Pia is 2 in a red, 2/2. Legendary creature, Human Artificer. As soon as the battlefield, you get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. You can pay 1 in a red, target artifact gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. So Pia is the best card in the pack, I believe. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I like the Gremlin, I like the Aetherborn, Ambitious Aetherborn, and Impeccable Timing also, and maybe the Tiger. I think Pia wins though, for sure. Let me know in the comment section below. We're going to do a quick little recap here. Pia's good. Cultivator. We got Blooming Marsh. We got an Aerial Responder Foil. Spire Bluff Canal is good. We got Torrential Gearhawk. Veritas Gearhawk. Fumigate's good. Authority of the Console's good. I like the Scrap Heaper. We got Chandra, of course she's good. Demon of Dark Schemes. Inspiring Advantage. So that's my box. I hope you guys liked it. Be sure to check me out on Facebook and on Twitter at MTG Opening so you can see what invention I pulled at a pre-release if you go check out Twitter. Be sure to like this video, leave comments in the comment section below, including what your pick is from the first pack, and maybe even what you pick if Pia isn't in that pack. And be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. I have a conspiracy video. I actually opened a box when it came out. I just never got it online, so that's going to be up soon. And I'm thinking of getting a fat pack of this set. I don't know if I will or not, based on some of the stuff I already opened. Maybe I will not. Maybe I will. Keep an eye out for that as well. Until next time, guys, thanks a lot. Bye.